Good morning, my beautiful friends. Yesterday, the weather was terrible this weekend. I was supposed to go camping, but a few different things happened that prevented me from going camping. My friend Nav and I decided to go to this holistic fair, and we were just going to go for like an hour. And then 5 hours later, we were still there. But it was really, really a great experience. It was the first time they've had this holistic fair in this place that's near me. And where I live is a very traditional community, so not a whole lot of people doing spiritual kinds of things that Nav and I do. So it was a smaller fair, but it was really nice because you really got to, really explore the things that were there. Sometimes there's a real big one that's real nice, but it's so big and it's really hard to, get to everything and to do all the things. Nav and I went and we actually had a few different readings. We started with an angel reading, which was great. And then I did a mediumship reading with somebody named Nicole, and that was really interesting. I had a very specific thing in mind, and she got it right away. It's important to like refrain from, like, it's not a quiz, right? You're not quizzing this person to see if they are legit or not. It's not meant, these, when you do these interactions, they're not meant to be like, okay, well, tell me what it is, let's see if you're legit. There were some people that I really wanted to come forward, and those people did, to answer some questions that I had. And then I did a tarot reading with somebody else. All three readings were really spot on. We bought way too much stuff. Candles and soap. I like soap. I make soap, so I always like to buy soap from other people just to see what they're doing. Incense and just, all the things that you are into when you're into this sort of thing. And it really, some of the messages that came through really resonated with me and in my practice. And so it was just really good. And then when we came home, there was a webinar on manifesting, which I would say that I'm not super great at doing because it's not, it's not something I was raised with or understand. So that was really helpful. But anyway, good weekend, good spiritual weekend. So I'm going to spend some time today just really working on meditation and focusing on that thing. But before I do that, I wanted to read some runes. So here we are. I'm going to just do a general reading, and this may resonate with me or may resonate with you. But we'll find out. Just a general energy read. And we're going to do the three Norns, which is past, present, future. So see what present energy we are in. But first we're going to get out our Iona stones. These are from the Isle of Iona in the Inner Hebrides off the coast of Scotland. And this is one I found on the beach and brought home, and this is one that I purchased at the store. Let's ask Spirit to guide us and give us a message for our highest good. What is our present energy? There we go. We have Anzus. Throw it at the computer. How did we get here? Oh, geez. And where are we headed? Remember that runestones don't predict the future? Othala. Alright, I am going to press pause and look at the stones and think about the message, and I'll be right back. I love Spirit, because this is totally where I'm at right now. So, the Anzus stone, which is our center stone, present energy, is the Odin stone. And it is all about communication and wisdom, breath of life. And if you know, like, Odin got the knowledge of the runes from hanging upside down from a tree. And it's all about sharing wisdom and sharing words of power. And one of the themes that was consistent throughout the three different readings by these three different people that I went to yesterday was, they each acknowledged that they knew that I had a gift, that I knew that I had a gift. And I'm always doubting that gift because, I'm an academic, so I'm always looking for, like, when I see a sign from spirit, I'm always like, okay, well, is that a sign from spirit? Is that me just like thinking it's a sign from spirit or willing it into existence? Wishful thinking, hopeful thinking, whatever. So in the first reading, the woman was like, you see signs all the time. And I would say that I struggle with seeing signs because I always doubt the things that I see are signs. I'm always questioning them. I'm always double guessing them. And then sometimes they're like so obvious and I'm still still guessing. And so, it was like Spirit saying, and the other thing that's funny is that my archangel is, I love all the archangels, of course, but my archangel is Michael. And in all three readings, they all mention Michael. They're like, Michael's around you. Like, you're surrounded by Michael. You're being protected by Michael. And he's my guy. So that was interesting. But this is all about communication. And that is really the present energy I'm in. Just that reminder to myself, but also to those who watch this channel, that spirituality is real. It's not something that we make up in our mind to get through the days. These are human costumes that we wear for our spiritual souls and selves. This is all real. This isn't imaginary. Our culture makes us doubt it because our culture wants to sell us packaged things that they've made for us. But, your communication with spirit, your connection to spirit, and then your ability to share that with others, those are all real things. And then what got me there is algae, which is elk. And it's like a little, like little horns. And that's protection, defense, instinct, group effort, guardianship, higher self, connection with God, right? Perceptions beyond the physical world. So, like, I've been on this journey since I'm a child. I have always been spiritual, even as a little girl. I have always been very connected to spirit, even as a child. And I was thinking the other night that I was electrocuted as a child when I was about 3 years old. And I don't remember if I had a near-death experience, but I know when my father ran in the room, and I'm old, right? So back in the olden days, Padawan, before they had 3 prongs, there used to be 2 prongs that would go in the outlet, and they were attached to this like little brown square. And my mom had gotten chocolates, like in a box, and I was little, I had never seen that before, and they were square, and so I think I thought that the little square chocolate that was plugged into the wall was a chocolate that had been dropped, and I really wanted the chocolate, so I went and I unplugged it and I stuck it in my mouth. And I have a scar that goes up the inside of my face now. You can't see it now, but I had to have facial reconstruction surgery as a 3-year-old, and I don't know. They often say that, like, little children that have near-death experiences don't remember them. I don't know if I had one or not, but I have always been spiritual, and I don't know if I've always been spiritual because of that experience, or just that, in this incarnation of my life, that I'm, more awakened than I was in previous lives or whatever. But, I've always been spiritual, and that was masked for a very long time as religious, right? As if you follow the channel, I was going to be a nun. I've always been, I was always very, very active, hyperactive in the church, the conservative Anglican church. And then I sort of moved away from the churchiness aspect, but I still maintain spirituality in my relationship with Jesus and my relationship with God. Although I don't belong to a church. I do go to churches. There's a church that I like here in my hometown that I will go to when I'm feeling called to go to church, but I don't actually belong to one. And that's not criticism for people who go to church. It just doesn't resonate with me. But I hope it resonates with you and brings you meaning if you go. The Dunkin' Donuts delivery service arrived. So this has always been building up into me, and I am a teacher. One of the readers, like, she pulled these cards. She was like, healer, teacher. She's like, what is it? She's like, you do this every day. What do you do? And I'm like, well, I read runestones every day, and I have a little YouTube channel, and it doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but it has enough for me. I'm happy with where it is, because I do it because I love it. And she's like, well, why don't you have a business doing this? And I'm like, because she's out, and then, there was more about that, but she's like, well, why don't you go to shows like this? And I'm like, well, I don't have a business license, and I don't charge. And then she was like shocked. She's like, well, where's the energy exchange? And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that mean? She, in her opinion, she feels that you have to have an exchange of money. I'm not actually there at that point. I don't necessarily think that's true. I like the work that I do in my real life. I'm not thinking of leaving my work to do this kind of thing. I do this because it brings meaning to me and hopefully value to the people who watch the channel. And, I think the energy exchange for me right now is just, doing it, I guess. But it was just interesting that she was, talking about, I do, in addition to doing this stuff, with the help of my friend Nav, I've gotten all into herbs and teas and making soaps and, using more natural things to, instead of pharmaceuticals. So, with my friend Vicky, who's an herbologist, I've sort of been down this path, working, really closely with more natural healing methods and things like that. So, but runestones are very unique, and at these shows that I go to, there's never anybody like reading runes. They'll use them as part of tarot readings, but they don't read them exclusively on their own. I don't read tarot because it's not my tradition. I don't think I have the memory to remember what all the cards mean. But I'm very comfortable with runestones, and it is my tradition in the Celtic tradition that I honor. So, I don't know. Will that turn into a business? Maybe. I don't know. I sometimes feel very called to doing it as a business and doing these little shows, just because I think that because the runes bring me so much meaning, maybe they would bring meaning to others. I don't know. But anyway, what's the outcome, right? So Athala, which is just a great, great stone, is all about ancestry, experience, values toward enlightenment, journey, ancestral roots and homeland, leave a legacy, a beacon of hope, peace, and light. It's our duty to help others. And that's really what all three readings yesterday were talking about, is that I definitely, as part of my gifts and part of this incarnation, I really, and even before I got into this kind of spiritual thing, before, when I was more religious than spiritual, I've always been driven to help others. I've been volunteering with the Red Cross since I'm 12 years old, first as a swimming instructor and through the years doing different things, and now doing disaster relief. I've always been very, very called, in like the core of myself, to help others and to not count the cost, right? So, when you help others, people do it for a number of reasons, make to feel better about themselves or whatever. Hopefully, and I feel this is true, and I hope it exudes this way. It isn't about me. It's about sharing the spirit of God with others, and doing what we're called to do. Like my family gets all irritated because I let these hikers stay at my house. In fact, I have 2 coming in this afternoon. And like, why do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. That's just the way I am. That's the way I'm wired. And again, I don't take money. They stay here for free and shower and do laundry for free. I just think if the world were full of more people who gave without expectation, it would be a much better world. Now, some people can't afford to do that or don't have the means to do it, and I understand that, and I haven't always had the means to do it. But if we can give, we should give what we can, right? And then we should, champion, like the light isn't mine. The light comes from God. The light is from Spirit. This human shell can get in the way of that light. That we put up curtains all the time to block light. I have to switch my computer around because the light behind me interferes with the quality of the video, and I really don't spend a lot of time working on video quality. I have access to all kinds of green rooms that I could do this in, but I just want it to be natural in me in my kitchen, or my office if I'm up there. So, I think we do a lot as humans to block the light, and so I don't want it at all to be fake or come across being, I don't know, hokey, woo-woo. I don't know what the word is, right? Like, I find like sometimes when I go to different shows or if I go to different things, like, the people are full of themselves. And there's this one, and I try not to be judgmental because, it's important to be open-minded about a lot of things, but, um, you'll go to shows and you'll spot them and you'll be like, I don't know, like, is that person really like connected to spirit, or is that person connected to the culture of being connected to spirit? And so, discernment is really, really important. And I think the thing that harms the spiritual community the most are the false prophets. But believe it or not, as you know, there are a lot of false prophets in the church, in all kinds of religions, right? Not just Christianity, but other religions too. And it's up to us to be discerning about the message. And really, the message is that, we are light beings and we are here to spread love in whatever capacity we can tap into. But to do that, we have to remove the curtains that sort of block the sun. So I'm here to shed light and love, and I'm hoping that light and love reaches you. Be well. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.